Move this chicken run and the houses to behind the garage has begun. Process. I find it so much easier on the homestead if you break down your projects into steps. Sometimes we can't get to those steps for weeks at a time, but at least we know what we have to do. My hope is to not have to buy many things at all, if nothing at all. And I really wanted to reuse everything we have on here, but the reality is I can't take this all completely apart in one day and move it. It's going to take time to do this piece by piece. And so we took the supports off the roof and put those over there, and we are using those as our studs. We already moved the nesting boxes that were over there, and we gave them a new nesting area. They already have a vintage mailbox as a nesting area. Girls, can I come in and see you? Hi. We've just had rain for like 2 days straight. So we got a vintage mailbox as a nesting box, and we made a little area over there. No, you can't go out. You can't go out. Let me show you what we've done so far. One was to move the nesting boxes back here against the garage. That is complete. We have one on this side. As you walk along the run back here, we have one on this side. So we will have two doorways, one on each side of this, and so you can walk in on both sides to get eggs. To put these posts in, like I said, these were the rafters on top of the chicken run over there. So we got our posts in. We are not putting them in concrete. We are just attaching them to the fence. Some really strong brackets. We are using what we have, and our hope is that because we will attach this all together towards the garage and have some really strong support here, that everything will be tied together and will be a lot stronger than the coop we have right now. Completed today. We framed out the top of the chicken run. We still have to get some more supports to go from here to here, and then from here to this board, and here across. So as I am getting through my steps, I am bringing out my boys, and we are going through my salvage wood pile, and we bring the wood that we need for the next step. We are going to be running farm fencing along the top as our roof. We find that's just economical. It doesn't have to be replaced. Birds and predators can't get into it, and then we'll be able to just let the weather compost the chicken run. And yeah, it's just easy, and not an easy way. It's just a sustainable way that we are investing into our chicken run. Since our runs have to be enclosed because of our high predator issue, we are trying to make sure we are doing it in a way that helps us be a good steward of our time, that we're not out here managing things over and over again. Now, that might be the only purchase that we have to make, because I don't know if I have enough fencing to go along the whole top of the roof. The next step would be to do the rafters to add some more support, and that's step 4. Step 5 would be to get my row of fencing that I do have and measure out the area that's inside this garden, and so that we can attach that part of the fencing. And this is actually going to be a doorway. If you are familiar with my kitchen garden tours, you'll notice that this is exactly where this chicken run is going to go, right behind the garage, behind our kitchen garden. So this entryway will go into that nesting box. And then this entryway will go into that doorway where that nesting box is. We've made enough room from the cattle panels to the entryway that we could still grow things, but still have enough space that, like I said, if we get a snowdrift or if we have to shovel out or whatever, we would have room for the door to open up. These are all lessons we've learned in having chickens and enclosed runs. You have to think about all those other things. So exciting once I get that chicken run in place, because then all my chickens will be back here. This is where my other run is. And then next spring, we're going to attach another run. Sorry, don't mind the tree that's still in the way, the elephant in the room. We're going to attach another run off of that shed with picket fence on the bottom. So we'll have another smaller run off that shed that will attach to that shed. So we'll have 3 chicken runs total back here. So it is a beautiful morning here, and I wanted to bring you out and show you the steps that I have accomplished on the new chicken run project. We actually took about a week and a half break from it because it got super hot here in Indiana. This week our highs are only in the 60s, so I feel like God is saying, girl, get up and get this finished. And so sure you're watching this video and in my head I'm trying to go through my steps. So our first step was moving the nesting boxes. Our second step was putting up the post and framing it out. Our third step was putting the roof rafters up. It was either our third step or our fourth step, and the other one would be putting our fencing up along the front part of the chicken run. So we are on step number 5. Our fifth step was to frame out this side wall by the garage, and the goal of this chicken run was to use whatever we had in our homestead, because we didn't have a lot of money to put towards this, but I really wanted to get this project done. And so I will show you what we came up with. Back to our big garden. Remember our big garden? This spring I showed in a video that we lost all of our beds to the big winter storm that happened, and we had no mound over this. It actually was over the fence, and it stayed on these beds for about 2 weeks. And so once the snow all melted, all the beds had collapsed. So I went ahead and took all those boards off. Well, let me show you what I did with all the boards from all these beds that we took apart. But over here on the side of our deck, we mulched this area. Yeah, I put those pots away. I see all these things, right? I showed people. And I figured I'd use this area as a place to stash supplies for future projects. So we have all of our pots for our plants. Those are going to end up going in the garage before winter. But we stacked all of those boards here, and then we have a stack of bricks over there from another project we took apart. So this is our like supply area. That's not like my junk wood pile area. That's like in another spot in the yard. But this is where we're keeping things as we take things apart. So all that wood was perfect for the side wall of that chicken run. So not only did we do the side wall, that was our step 5. Our next step, which was step 6, was to frame out our doors. I think I'm gonna need to keep a stick over here. Cattle panel reality is the fact that spider webs this time of year are everywhere. So we had to frame out our doorways at step number 6. So we got this one framed out, and this doorway actually is a measurement of the 2 doors that we have at the big coop. So basically what we'll do is we'll just bring those 2 doors over. Well, one door will go here, one will go on the other side, and we'll just hinge it up whenever we move the chickens over. And this is the other side of the chicken coop. And so we have the other doorway here going under the cattle panels. But then we decided to do a third door. My husband was really concerned about the snow drifts that we had last year and how they did pile up in front of here. And so we decided was to board up this side wall, but we decided to turn that into another doorway. Again, using all that wood that we had set aside from those beds. And as you can see over there that I showed you, there's still piles of wood left for other raised beds or other projects. So I want to paint all this wood white on the inside wall and along the doorways. And then after step number 7 is done, step number 8 is going to be putting the roof on, which is that roll of fencing that we had bought actually a couple years ago for the chicken run that we're moving, and we just never got it up. So we have a brand new roll of fencing here. It's not even been opened. And so that would be step number 7. Step number 8, actually. I'm getting so confused, y'all. But anyway, once these boards are painted, we get that fencing over the roof, then we're going to be moving our chickens in. But it's coming along. The only thing that I have purchased so far for this chicken run was a gallon of paint, a box of screws, and some of these washers, which are really good when you're screwing in fencing like this kind, or even the fencing over the roof, because it kind of keeps the fence more secured. And I'm not going to worry about this bindweed at all, because my hope is when these chickens move in here, they will take care of that root system, and they will just eat that all up. And if we lose these raspberries along this wall, that'll be fine. Guys, it's going to be winter in like a month and a half. So at this point, usually I know things are going to die. And since I will have chickens over here when spring does come and things start to grow back, I can manage them a little better, and they can help me manage it. So it's a beautiful morning out today. It's really foggy, and there she is. So we got this side painted. We've got this third doorway painted. I didn't get to finish the outside of that door, but that's okay. We'll get another gallon of paint. I got that door painted. I've already ran into a struggle with having these cattle panels where the doorways are for the chicken run. I think it's super romantic, absolutely charming. Look. Do you see that? The dew is really thick this morning as the sun comes up. Yeah. There's one there. There's a little one there. So we're gonna have to have sticks. At least during like the fall and summertime. There's that little one there. And then we have another big one right here. It's hard to see it against the sun. That's so funny. So we're gonna have to take care of these spider webs. Maybe I'll see if I could find some, like, I don't know, cool sticks or something to stick over here to use. But yeah, we have this side painted. Here's my little pointing finger now. And then I'll show you the other side. Oh, we did. The inside wall is painted. I'm going to add some shelves here. And I think I'm going to put like, I don't know if I'm going to put some like decorations up in here, which I really want to. Or if I'm going to add shelves and have something like, yeah. Not exactly sure what would be practical to put there, but I'm going to do something. And then, yeah, I'll show you the outside here. Let's walk this way. The pumpkins are growing. It's going to be way too late, I think, to get pumpkins. I don't have any baby pumpkins on there, but... So yeah, I painted this side wall too. Okay, it's a new day. Don't mind the crazy gray hairs everywhere. Hair, I don't care today. But I wanted to show you, we came outside and I wanted my husband to help me start on the roof of the greenhouse, or of the roof of the chicken run, so that way I could kind of unroll it and my other son can help me screw it in as we go. We got a lot farther than that. Let me show you what we got done. These flowers, they bloomed a few days ago. They're called obedient plant. They are just gorgeous. They're so pretty. I have them on either side of the shop. Alright, so I told him I wanted him to start right here with the roll of fencing and just screw this end down, and then I could unroll it all the way down. But him and my boys were out here with us yesterday and it took us about an hour. And we got all the way down to the end. We had to add some more supports on the roof, which the name of the game is use what you have. So we went around, we found this one long board, we found some more cedar pickets, and we just did what we could. Fencing is not heavy. We are attaching it with screws and washers, and we will come alongside here and attach some more chicken wire against it and zip tie it. So, I mean, these bigger supports are 2x4s. Those are going to hold the weight, most of the weight of it. And then we have to do a piece down here Guys, I've said it before, God cares about all the things that we care about. We had this one row of fencing and didn't have a label on it. I knew it was brand new. We bought it 3 years ago, actually for the roof of the chicken coop that we're moving over here. And we never used it. So my husband got to right here and said, we're not going to make it. It's not going to be long enough. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do a call out with friends, see if they have any extra pieces of fencing or whatever. We just don't want to spend a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money to spend. We really don't have any money to spend on this. So I went inside and I said, well, let me go get some more washers, because we were screwing this in with washers and screws in the corners so that would hold. And look, we made it all the way to the end. He had enough to come on over, to flip it over and screw into there, and we still had some left. So I don't know how long this is going to be, but we're going to see how far it will go on that side. So yeah, that was like a loaves and fishes story, because we really did not even think it was going to be long enough. Like I said, I have to come along here with some chicken wire, and we have to come along here. So we went to the back. We went to our pile of fencing, gathered up what all we had, which is what's right there. Not exactly sure how far that'll go, but I think we're going to try and see if we can make it work, and maybe with that and what's left over from the fencing, we can get those edges sealed up. And then I got to build a screen door for the far end, the third door that we have. And then, guys, we can move these chickens over in this house, and I'm so excited. I will have to buy some screen for the screen door. Actually, probably not, because look, see this big long piece right here? That's part of a screen door, so I might see if that's big enough. It might not be big enough to reuse that. And you know, if we don't have enough fencing to fix the edges of the roof, I might again do a call out to my farm friends and see if anybody has any scrap fencing, scrap chicken wire, anything that we can use to get the job done. So, well, I will talk to you all later and bring you back to hopefully finishing the job. Well, it's no longer warm here at our homestead, but I thought I'd kind of show you what this chicken run looks like. So this one looks a whole lot different than the last time you saw it. It's the beginning of winter here in Indiana, and we had a lot that pulled our attention away, so we never were able to get it completely taken down and get this one moved back to where the third run's going to be in the springtime. But you will notice that there is something missing. Obviously the doors and that chicken house. So that only means one thing, friends. We were able to finish this coop before the snow came. We got the house taken apart and rebuilt. All the girls are moved in. And I am so glad it's done. So we have tarps over our chicken houses and the doors to help keep the wind from, you know, wind and the snow and the ice and all the things to keep the chickens nice and toasty. See, the coop over there is all boarded up with tarps and stuff as well. So after we got this done, right at the end of fall, actually it was into winter already, we went ahead and just did what we could to get the house put back together. It got back together. There were moments where I was wondering if it would. It's always funny when you take something apart and you try and put it back together. Sometimes it doesn't always fit. And so we were able to figure it out, add some extra pieces of wood. We raised this one up off the ground than the other one, so we have cinder blocks on the bottom, and then we layered it with decking and stuff that we already had over in that coop, but we just raised it up a little bit higher so the floor is all decking in there, so we can just scrape it out pretty easily. But I've already found things that we want to change, you know, give it to winter and putting things together right at the very end of warm weather for you to figure out what needs to be different. The things that we've already decided we would like to do differently in the springtime is to take this roosting house apart and rebuild it. we realized the door opens up like that, and it was great in the other coop, but that doesn't give us a very big pathway to go back and forth. And so we just got it together, honey. We got it done. And it's secure and it's warm for the chickens, but we have already talked about trying to do one where the door would open up on the side here, and even debated whether or not to build in a nesting box. We do think in the winter next year we'd like to put some lights inside their roosting houses, and it'll probably end up being a solar light is what we're thinking, and doing the same for the other chickens. Our chickens don't lay in the winter time. We like to let them have a natural break, but we've also realized selling eggs at market, like there's a big customer base, and even though they will slow down in the winter, we just felt like it would be really nice to be able to have those eggs a little bit longer for our customers. So we're talking about an idea of what to do. But we got the roof all finished. We got all of the edges sealed up. We predator proofed every nook and cranny we could find just to make sure. Their nesting boxes haven't quite been used yet. They like to get up in there. But that's another thing too, you know, in the wintertime here in the Midwest, if your nesting boxes are outside like this, even if you have a light in the house, most of them don't lay because they want their nesting boxes to be warm. At least that's what I've heard from some other friends who have chickens that lay through the winter, like they have them in a barn or a shed, or their house has a nesting box area. So we've talked about doing something similar to that. And we did it frugally, we did it resourcefully, and we got it done. Our chickens are happy back here. They are enjoying this deep bedding that we laid down. Hi, are you saying hi, girly? So they are happy girls. They are doing good and staying warm. So our doors went on pretty good. They were a lot taller than we thought, but that's okay. They fit. We might eventually at some point probably cut those off so it's easier for us to walk in. But so far it works. We went ahead and put some bricks along here. We were just worried with the ground settling that a critter might try and get in. As you can tell, all of the bindweed and all the raspberries are dead. So this will be easy come springtime, or if we get a warm snap in the winter, I want to come out here and cut all these off. I don't know, I've thought about letting the raspberries grow up. Somebody said we should try. They might not eat them a whole lot, so if we let them go up the front here, but I'm not sure yet what I'll do. Maybe I'll come and weave them in and out of the fencing, take all the bindweed down, kind of see how that works. Again, we want to be resourceful with what we have, and I know it sounds very silly sometimes being a good steward of sticks and straw and all the other things, but when we have established raspberry plants that have been back here for 3 or 4 years, you know, it might be a good idea to just weave them in and out of the front here and just kind of see what happens. We have nothing to lose, but we could have something to gain, and we could gain a whole wall of raspberries that are pretty easy to harvest from this end. Anyway. Over here we have the other door in. Some of these cattle panels we need to move. Put some T-posts in. I think my idea come spring is to paint the doors red, and then we rebuild the nesting house, paint it red, paint the awnings over the nesting boxes red, kind of do this whole red and white theme. And then over here I'll show you this third door. We were able to get straw finished on this side of the garden, get some straw laid here, all these things we ended up getting done. So we ended up using that piece of screen. It worked great. We had to build the door frame in a little bit more so it wasn't as wide as we had hoped it would be. But the other two main entrances are a lot wider. This is just going to be like an extra entrance. And so we did end up having to buy the boards to build the frame of the screen, and it cost us about $20. So And like I said earlier, we didn't get a chance to paint the outside of this. We'll buy another gallon of paint in the springtime. And one thing we have noticed is this ground is sloped like this, so we've had to kind of figure all that out. You know, when you're building with what you have, ground's not always going to be perfect. But we are so grateful that this is a very stable coop and it's not going to end up falling apart like the other one did in the windstorm. And everybody seems to be really enjoying having a new place to run. Aren't you girls? You like it, don't you? We just used basic eye hooks on this doors. These we already had. It's another thing eventually we might want to upgrade, is using some different types of locks. But it works. See, you discover all these things. I need to come out here and put another board here. Something little could probably try and get in there. But it's nice and sturdy. Oh, and we need to block that up too. Ha! See all the things you see. Yeah, we're going to just see if we can get that fixed. But guys, good. This coop is moved. We didn't get a chance to get everything else all buttoned up that we wanted to do, but at least we got this big project done, and all of our chickens are happy and healthy and warm, and they're all back here. Girls wanted some attention too. Want me to come back here and say hi, everybody? Yep, you're enjoying your deep bedding as well. And there's a really pretty rooster. I think he's a barred rock. He takes so good care of these girls. But they are enjoying life back here as well, huh? Aren't you?